Audio Addiction, we have the Inoculated Canaries. He can say his name and what he does in the band.
Hey guys, my name is Michael Rubin. I'm the lead singer and guitarist of the Inoculated Canaries.
Awesome. So my first question, Mikey asks this to every band: how'd you start out? How'd you get all your members and stuff like that?
So it's been a little bit of a journey. The Inoculated Canaries has existed for like 7 years in different forms now, but the lineup that we have now, I think, is probably one of our strongest ones, and these are the guys that I think are going to be here for the long haul. But no, I mean, it just started as me and two other guys playing some music, and there were a couple girls in the band at some point. And then people come and go when things change. But I think that the group we have now, which is me, Dylan, Brian, and James, is really when I found James is when everything changed. He's the Paul McCartney to John Lennon. I need James. I love that guy. So he's like my rock. But I always say he's my arch nemesis as well as my best friend, because he's the worst to be around.
That's awesome. So you had known them all prior, I would assume, to you starting a band and things of that nature, correct?
So we had a substitute drummer for a while. It's a guy named Rosario. We're a good friend of ours, but he's older. He's like 35-ish now. So he had a kid and he had to leave the band. And he was like, "Hey man, my nephew plays drums," and his nephew was James. So that's kind of how that happened, and we've been stuck with him ever since.
There you go.
And the other guy, we worked together at School of Rock, so we spent a lot of time doing music together, and it just kind of seemed natural.
That's cool. I feel like whenever I ask this sort of question, it's always interesting to find how bands form and things of that nature, and just what brings people together in terms of what happens in the music, in your band and just music in general. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Awesome. So my next question, Mikey, what are some favorite venues you guys like to play at or catch a show at in your free time?
So my favorite venue to see a show at is the PlayStation Theater. Best concert I ever went to in my whole life was James and I went to go see Less Than Jake together. And it was, we both had the flu, had 102 fever.
Man.
It was horrible. It was so good that we were right in the middle of the mosh pit. I think James got punched in the face, which is always good. But it was so good. I love the PlayStation Theater. I think my favorite venue that we've played recently, though, was the Bowery. We played at the Bowery Electric, and it's such a classic staple of the New York scene. And obviously the place is great. The crowd was really good that night. And the owners, she's lovely. So
Awesome.
it's a good place.
I always it's funny because I live in New Jersey, so I always travel to Philly more often because I'm closer to Philly, and that just seems a little bit more appropriate for me to go to. But whenever I hear bands talk about the PlayStation Theater, it's just I need to. If there's a big show coming up, I'm gonna have to definitely go out to go see a show there for sure.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. You have to go. It's very intimate.
Awesome. My next question, Mikey, kind of to follow up the venues. What was the last show that you attended that you didn't play?
I saw one of my friend's bands. It's a band called Full Heavy.
Okay.
The lead singer is a girl named Sam, and she's pretty close with the band. But last big show that I went to, man, that was a while ago. I think it might have even been Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
a couple years ago.
Okay.
It was good. It was really good. No, I lied. It was the Foo Fighters, and it was at Madison Square Garden. It was a year and a half ago.
Oh man, that's even better. I've been I feel like they're on my bucket list. They're one of those bands I haven't seen, but obviously grew up with, and I need to see. And everybody tells me go see the Foo Fighters. So next time it's gonna happen for sure.
Dave Grohl he's such a good frontman, such a good showman. So I mean, it's always a great show. And something I like about them too is they're one of the only rock bands that play for 3.5 hours straight with no intermission. That takes a lot of stamina. I don't even know if I could do that.
Yeah, and I think it's something to aspire to as a band too. Is maybe one day you'll get to that point where you'll be able to do that, like you said.
Yeah.
Awesome.
2.5 years of just hits.
Awesome. Next question, Mikey. Speaking about big musical bands, what are some of your influences? Who's some of the bands that you start out listening to that influence what you do now?
Sure. So I've when I was in high school and stuff, and I was growing up, people used to always make fun of me because I listen to dad rock, as it's called, you know. So for me, number one like favorite ever band of all time is Pink Floyd, and that's just because David Gilmour is a mind blowing guitarist. You know, he never overplays, he never does too much. Everything he does is tasteful and melodic, and that's something that I try to emulate. You know, rather than playing a million notes, which is fine. I mean, I can't even do that. You know, some guys who could just shred and play really fast. I never play that way. But I've always been a fan of just really taking your time with stuff and really developing melody, and that's all because David Gilmour does it. Yeah, so I mean, Pink Floyd, obviously Zeppelin, Frank Zappa. I think he was the last great classical composer, even though he's a rock star. He's really his music is classical music. It's unbelievable. Oh, yeah. I don't know, old stuff like that. But I've also recently started listening to Tame Impala, maybe like 2 years ago. They're phenomenal as well. I don't know. I mean, Foo Fighters, obviously. I like this band called Mild High Club.
Okay.
They have one song. It's called Window Pane, and I think it was my most played song of 2018 because it was. The bass line is so good, man. He just walks it the whole time, and the groove is unbelievable. If you get a chance to check it out, Window Pane, such a good tune.
Awesome. That's really cool. I like how you kind of, span the different like time frames of music. Like I love that you grew up listening to like classic rock, and obviously that is like the backbone of like what you do, and then obviously like more modern rock bands kind of come into the fold, and that's really cool too because like I grew up listening to like a lot of classic rock, so for me like I can kind of pick out that sort of similarities and like what you stew in terms of style, and I could pick out that sort of classic rock vibe but still still have that like modern touch to it. So I think that's really cool. Keep it up, man. It's definitely, obviously you'll continue doing that for sure.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Awesome. Next question, Mikey. Speaking about bands and things of that nature, who's on your Spotify? Who you've been jamming recently?
So all the ones I mentioned, all the classics. I did leave out some of the '90s stuff. I'm a huge Nirvana fan. Just before we got on this phone call, I was looking at buying an old Fender Mustang just because I want to pretend I'm. Yeah, I mean Tame Impala's on there. There's a band called Hers. I've gone through their catalog. They have some good stuff, but they have this one song called "What Once Was," and it sounds like if Social Distortion existed in an alternate universe where they were a little bit more ballady, less punk rock band, but the voice is the same, and it's just so cool. I love them. What else am I listening to? Oh man. I just recently listened to Abbey Road, not for the first time, but from beginning to end the first time. Just like in one, hour long sitting or however it was. That's different. Everybody makes fun of Ringo for putting out Octopus's Garden, but it's such a good tune. Such a good tune.
It's cool to go through their discography too, because like as one person aspires to be is the next Beatles band, I'm sure. But it's hey, listen, you guys shoot for the stars, man. That's all I'm saying. But it's always cool to see like obviously everybody knows like the hits that they do and like all the popular songs like Hey Jude, like things of that nature, but it's really cool to kind of delve into their like musical discography that isn't as popular as maybe like those bigger songs that they do. So I appreciate that you took the time out.
Listening back like the first Beatles album, because if you listen to it, it's just a recording of their live set, and there's mistakes all over the whole damn thing. They just kind of did it in one take. There's a part where John Lennon's singing the wrong lyrics. I love that stuff. It's so real,
But yeah, exactly. It's not fabricated. Like now you can like auto-tune anything, or you can like swap out a part vocally. I think it's something like simplistic about them like just recording what they do, like, and just did it. That's one of those things that I feel like a modern band couldn't do without getting like a ton of flack.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Next question, Mikey. Another fun one. If you could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
I think about this all the time. Because at first we kind of started as a cover band back when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. We were just going out playing a bunch of Led Zeppelin tunes, whatever. But now I love doing the original stuff more, but I think the last cover that I thought of doing was "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's a really cool one. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I could sing it in that key. We really have to kind of play around with it. But I've been messing around with that idea. Maybe something. We were gonna do a Frankie Valli tune a while ago, but we never got around to it.
Ooh,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
really the only thing that's really on the plate right now might be "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley.
I would definitely like to get around to hear that Frankie Valli thing, because obviously being like from the Northeast, that's like an instant classic band, you know. So,
Yeah,
uh,
plus
that
we have Brian. He's music theater guy all the way, so it's he would definitely have his arrangement on it. It would sound right.
awesome, awesome. Next question, Mikey. Another fun one. Favorite food to eat?
Uh, I love Japanese food. I love sushi and sashimi. Um, I could eat. I could go to a Japanese restaurant every single day and never get sick of it. Love miso soup. I like Korean barbecue as well. You know, you go and cook your own food, and then just good old New York pizza. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, can't get that anywhere else. That's for damn straight. Awesome. Next question, Mikey. If you could pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest vocalist on your next record or a producer you'd like to work with, who would it be?
Alive or dead?
Why don't you? Okay, we'll make it interesting. Give me one that's alive and give me one that's dead.
Uh, Dead would probably be David Bowie. Um, Live, somebody I'd like to collaborate with. I mean, I feel like saying Rick Rubin is a bit of a cop out, but Rick Rubin would be awesome to work with.
I mean, like that's like top tier, like of musical
Hey,
producers.
you
I
said
mean, who's
sorry.
exactly,
If we're getting a
exactly.
little bit weird, maybe Alan Parsons as well. I've always been a huge Alan Parsons fan. He produced a lot of the Pink Floyd stuff. Also, I, Robot is one of my favorite albums of all time. Just beginning to end, it's a ride. It's everything you like about Pink Floyd, but it's completely different.
I would definitely agree with that. I haven't listened to it in a little minute, but I'll definitely have to throw it back into the mix when when we get off. But my next question, Mikey, another fun one. If there was another musical instrument that you could be super good at, what would it be?
I recently bought a mandolin, and I'm
Oh,
trash
tight.
at mandolin. I think I'd really like to be good at playing the mandolin.
That'd be awesome. Maybe it might be in the next track.
It's funny. I've been playing guitar for I don't know, maybe 12 years at this point, 10 years. And you think a lot of it would carry over to mandolin, and it kind of does, but it's completely different. I got brand new set of calluses on my hand, and I think that I would.
Yeah, I definitely can attest to that because I also play guitar as well, and I got a ukulele like not too long ago, and my hands just feel like super huge on this thing. Like I can't like phrase anything, so I can totally respect trying to do that sort of thing. Maybe I might have to put a mandolin in my arsenal as well.
Yeah, it's a tricky instrument, but it really sounds beautiful.
Awesome. Next question, Mikey. I see that you have an Avengers poster in the back, so I gotta ask, if there is one superhero that you could be, who would you choose?
Uh, Iron Man has always been my favorite. Iron Man is also James's favorite. So that's a comic book. I found that at a comic store for like $10 because the front page is ripped. But it's a 1969 of the Avengers. Yeah,
Oh, that's tight. That is so cool. I'm
I
just
I haven't read it. I don't really read comics, but I mean it's the coolest thing.
I'm just like the biggest like jealous person in the world right now because I think that's so sick. Because I like saw it and I was like he has to like at least enjoy like Marvel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I'll put it down for you. Hold on. My roommate put a fork on top of it. Uh, yeah, it's just kind of like that. Check it out. This is it.
oh, that's so cool.
Anyway,
Oh man. Well, enough
put that
geeking
off my.
out about that sort of stuff, Mikey. Got to get back into the musical related
Sure.
stuff. If there was a dream tour that you could compile, who would be on it?
Oh my God. Um, Hopefully us.
I mean, I feel
um,
like you gotta be on it, you know?
right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Dream Tour. I know if I was gonna do this for the band, if I was gonna do this for us collectively, it would be Roger Waters, Blink 182, Green Day, and I don't know, maybe the Chili Peppers.
Ooh, okay.
I think that would be just like a general of the whole band.
I could absolutely get down with that. I feel like again, you guys are probably in the same age range as me, being 26, but like I like, when you picked up Blink and Green Day, I was like I knew we were right on the right track. So I'm glad you added that, and then Roger Waters, fantastic artist too as well. So like the lineup, gotta dream big. So I like the tour lineup, Mikey. Next question. Speaking about, great bands, who puts on a great live performance?
Oh man, um, Less Than Jake was incredible. Streetlight Manifesto. I'm wearing a Streetlight Manifesto T-shirt right now.
There you go.
They're incredible. They're so good. Green. Did I say Green Day already? Green Day is amazing. Um, I don't know. I I think the only show that I was a little disappointed about, and this is just because normally I'm not crazy about shows at Madison Square Garden. I saw Rush live, and I love Rush, man. I'm a huge Rush fan. Just my dad has been putting me on Rush since I was a little kid, so I know all the songs. I just felt like at Madison Square Garden everything is a little bit impersonal, and they didn't really interact with the crowd too much. But musically they were perfect. I mean, everything was just spot on. And the cool thing about Rush is it's only the three of them on stage ever. They never have auxiliary musicians. So the fact that they can do everything note for note and it's just the three of them is amazing. I don't know. It would have been nice if they kind of engaged a little bit more. But they're
I
old
think
dudes playing rock and roll.
exactly, and I also feel like it's Madison Square Garden, so like it's
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be probably pretty hard for like people to like get involved in that sort of stuff unless you're like on the floor, But hey, you know what? Definitely a band that's fantastic and obviously a classic for a reason. But we're gonna move into the next questions, Mikey. Another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Favorite movie is Pulp Fiction. I've seen it 13 times to date. Um, Favorite TV show. It's a tie between The Office because it's everyone's favorite TV show and Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, Trailer Park Boys. I had a feeling. I bet you he'll say Trailer Park Boys. So I'm glad my intuition was right there. Great,
Yeah, it's a good show.
great show. Along with The Office, I feel like that's, a classic for a reason. Next question, Mikey. If you're trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you, what would it be?
Oh man. Rapid fire questions here. Maybe Dark Side of the Moon. I can never get tired of listening to that. I have a cassette tape of it in my car that I always keep.
Just in case. It's the emergency Pink Floyd tape.
Also, my car has the cassette player, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, no, I know. You don't have to tell me you're preaching to the choir. But next question, Mikey. The last thing. It's not really a question, but I figure I'd pose it as a question. Tell them about your band, where they can find you at, and anything coming up in the next couple months.
So we're gonna be in the studio in June. We're gonna be working on stuff. So we're planning some gigs now. I'll get back to you on dates, but the biggest way to reach us is on Instagram. The cool thing about Instagram, as opposed to some other places, is I do it myself. So if you reach out to us, it's me. All the content stuff is us and just the band. I don't know. Check out our stuff on Spotify. We got some music videos coming out for you guys pretty soon on YouTube, and I don't know. It's all about the music. We're just gonna make a whole bunch of it. So if you're listening, and you're around, thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Well, first of all, gotta give a shout out to Angela. She's the best. Love her. Gotta show some love.
Yep.
But the second thing is check out the Inoculated Canaries. If you couldn't understand me at all because I have a cold and I sound like I'm gonna die soon, You can check the link in the description to find out about the band. All of their social media handles will be there. Go give them a follow. Go give them a like. Subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. And if they're, hitting your area, definitely go say what's up. Go out and see them because, bands now I think are really killing it. And it's always good to see a good show and great live performance. So go check them out. And if you enjoyed this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. And thanks, of course, to Mikey for coming on, dude.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.